And hello, and welcome to Living Magically with Michelle Orwick, your host, as always, Magical Michelle. And this week we are talking about the energies, the astrological energies of the week November 6th, which leads up to the 11/11 portal. And this 11/11 portal has a powerful punch because it falls on astrological Samhain. What does that mean? So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. In the meantime, I just want to thank you, each one of you, for supporting me. I realize that whether you're watching this on my weekly Facebook group, and if you do want this live, the Facebook group is actually called Soul Circle Facebook group. So if you want at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to actually watch the live video recorded, you can do that. But now, if you can't be live in Facebook, we also make it available on YouTube and on whatever your local podcast available scheduled podcast carrier is. So we've really worked really hard, and I want to thank Marissa for all the extra work it took to make this not just a YouTube video, but also a podcast. So we will continue to be bringing this to you every single week. And with that, there's an extra little bit of effort. What I really would hope you would do to make that possible for us to keep doing it is to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, get the message out there. So that's what I am asking for from you, my friends, family, and audience. And if you're new to me, I am super excited about this this week. This is a really, I don't know about you, but 11 is a number that just shows up for me. 11/11, I remember seeing the 11/11 when I was a little kid, and we went from, this is going to age me, we went from having regular clocks to digital clocks, and I would wait and I would be super excited on any moment that I would get that 11/11 flash on that brand new digital clock. And my mother always said, this is a moment to take a moment and make a wish. So I, from a very early age, really started seeing the 11/11 as a sign. And when I started delving into it later in life, it is a sign. It's a sign from your angels, your guides, and often intergalactic energy when you see the number 11/11. It has the first frequency of just 11. So 11 is the frequency of a master number, and it's the master teacher. So if you're looking at being a teacher or a spiritual guide in any way, and you keep seeing 11/11, this is a sign to keep going. This is, if you're in a spiritual awakening and you're seeing 11/11, this is a sign to keep going. 11 is a fairy number. So we see this as a time out of time. This is a particularly interesting day because we have that frequency of the double 11, so a master number, really. And it's literally the only one we get in the way we have changed time. We create time as humans. Time isn't linear. Time is a constraint that we actually place on ourselves to understand where we are and what we're doing. And so this is, in our creation, the only time we see a 4 number within our time system. So when you do that, as long as you're not on military time, which then you can see 2222. But for the most part, most people do the 12-hour system of having only that one 11/11 flash twice a day. So when you see that time, even if it's not the week of 11/11, take it as a moment to pause. Take it as a moment to make a wish. I like to place my hand on my heart, and I actually send healing out whenever possible to the collective. And especially with everything that's going on in the collective right now, it is really imperative that we're creating a field of like-minded individuals. The more meditation we do, the more prayers we put into the field, the more we actually create a peaceful collective consciousness. If we are expecting the world to change, we have to be a part of that change. And when we're part of that change, we do that by creating a reality of symbiotic thoughts. When we're creating the group consciousness, we want to start seeing the world as a place that we are creating for our future. I understand this doesn't mean that there isn't horrible things going on in the world. What I am saying is that we can send intention into it. That, in fact, one of my prayers right now that I do every single day, and I often do this at 11:11 p.m., is I send into the field, and we've now scientifically proven that there is a field, and they've proven that mass group consciousness and mass meditation and mass intention can actually affect the consciousness. So I send into the field a prayer, and it goes something like this, that I am praying that and intending that those who are actually creating our world policy, that means politicians, world leaders, government, it also means our politicians in the churches and different religious sites, our religious leaders, and even our media and those who control the financial institutes are all making right choices for the highest evolution of planet Earth. So if you're wondering, what can I do when I feel powerless to make a change? This is what we can do. Every single day, you can send a prayer into the consciousness. And I actually imagine sending it down through my tailbone, out my root chakra, into the ley lines of the earth, and connecting each of us through the heartbeat of the planet to the heartbeat of each of our people on this planet, that we are creating new earth. We are creating heaven on earth. We're creating a place that we can be proud of, and that we are in this future in a way that brings us to joy and peace and harmonization. So I do that, and I actually really encourage you to start right now when it is the most powerful, because we're in an energy of death and rebirth cycle. We're in the Scorpio time frame. So the sun is in Scorpio right now, and that brings us to a time where Scorpio is a leader in the thought form of new and old ideas, the leaving behind of one thought process and the beginning of a new one. That is part of the cycle here. You're going to see this as you see the seasons change. It's going to be prevalent in the time change. We just had a time change, and so therefore you're seeing it getting darker at night, and you're probably wanting to go more inward and be more personal, and to look at yourself and your karmic pathways. And that is also being reinforced by the fact that Saturn, the planet of karma, just on the 4th over the weekend moved direct after a full few months of being in retrograde. So we're seeing this change. So a lot of people said they felt a shift over the weekend and they didn't really know why. And that shift could be positive or negative. I'm really not here to judge that. But if you felt a shift, you're maybe being pushed in a new direction, or clarity on the direction you're already on, or you just might feel like some obstacles have been removed, and your path has been cleared. This is the fact that we've had that Saturn movement, and it's a big thing. We're starting to see more and more of our planets actually moving forward right now, which is a good thing. It's a positive thing. And yet we're in this dark moon phase. The full moon is over. We're past the eclipse hangover, and we're in that dark moon, which will be over this coming weekend. So you're going to see that dark moon, and you're going to have 15 degrees of Scorpio, which is halfway between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. You're going to see that hitting on the 11/11 this weekend. Dark moon, 15 degrees of Scorpio, and the 11/11 portal, which is considered to be a galactic portal. It's considered to be a fairy portal, and is also seen to be an energy of transformation. So if you're feeling that this week is a week of clearing and letting go, this is exactly what is happening. You're probably feeling like you've maybe already started that new path, but the things, it's kind of like you have to take the backpack off and set it down, because you no longer need to carry that baggage around with you. So on your new journey that will start with next week's new moon, it's going to be a new moon in Scorpio next week. What do you have to lay down here? What is it you no longer need to carry around with you? What is no longer serving you? What is no longer part of your thought process? And when you feel into your heart, I actually want you to think about this. I've been teaching the You and the Creator class. I'm teaching it back to back. I taught it a Theta Healing class called You and the Creator over the weekend, and now I'm teaching it in. It's a 2-day class, and I'm teaching it again to a couple of different people today and tomorrow. And what I'm noticing is that we're being called deeply to understand that you are a creator. You are no longer going to just be a passenger in your life. In fact, it's time for you to step up and no longer allow victim mentality. One of the things I'm noticing is we are also, as we're healing group consciousness. So what was really, really interesting today is I had 2 gentlemen in class, which was really neat. A lot of times I will have 2 women, and this time I had 2 men in class. And earlier today, I was with my Bloom Temple priestesses, and we were having a conversation about the upcoming energies being about healing the collective of the masculine divine. That is included in women, our masculine, our relationships with our fathers. And it was interesting because here I am in a class with 2 men healing their relationships with their fathers and coming to terms with being a powerful male force in the world. And something that came up was that boys don't cry. And that is such an anomaly that no longer serves us anymore. What happened years ago was it wasn't safe for a man to cry and show emotions. This was literally beaten out of boys, and it was beaten out in the military, and it was really a collective consciousness that boys don't cry, and it's not safe to cry, and it's not safe to show emotion. And so today we did a healing on the collective consciousness that men are allowed to have feelings and emotions and be vulnerable and safe. And for women, I want to say that what we're healing on our masculine is that we're allowed to be masculine in the world. We are allowed to take action and be creators and be part of this coming world. And when we do that, when we heal the masculine side of ourselves and we come into right relationship in balance, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever you need to do to heal both your masculine and your feminine and come into right relationship. This is the duality that we are healing right now with the collective consciousness. This is a super important portal here this week, next week. And if you're seeing yourself, I see a lot of people making big changes. And one of two things may come up when you say that. You might be like, yes, I'm making big changes and I'm ready to make big changes. And I just need the energy to do that. And then there's the other half of the collective that's like, I want to make big changes and I'm afraid, or I feel unsupported, or I'm nervous to do that. Either way, it's coming to the surface to allow you to be authentic. This word came up today in class as well. It's super interesting. There's a lot of research around the field of our consciousness. And they did a study, and one of the things that they noticed was when people were feeling love, they didn't actually change as much as when they were feeling authentic. Their field around them actually changed. And it actually was the deepest and most profound healing for people to be able to be authentic, to be able to be true to their emotions. And they didn't have to just be love and light. They got to have the shadow, and they got to be authentic, and they got to be real, and they got to show their emotions. And so I want you to allow whatever emotion is true for you. And what I invite you to do is invest in your allowance. That's what's being called for us today, is if we start allowing our emotions not to rule us, not to control us, but to be authentic for us, then we're going to start being in right relationship with self. And when we start accepting and showing other people that they can be authentic and that their feelings and their needs are allowed to be met, and we can ask for our needs to be met, this too will start changing the world. I go to a group of people that are doing something called Cuddles and Consent. And one of the things we talk about is if you're never saying yes, or you're saying yes all the time and you're never saying no, how can we even trust that you are going to say no when it's a real no? So I want you to practice your authentic no's. I want you to practice feeling safe saying, I don't want that. That's a boundary. And even better, it's a standard or a policy. It doesn't feel good to me. So allow yourself to start regulating into your true and authentic no and your true and authentic yes. Start feeling what that feels like in your body. What does that feel like in your heart? What does a true yes feel like? And is that safe? And is it safe to express it? And how do we start telling people what we want? And I heard one of the most powerful tools that I want to sort of share here with you, which is to start asking, would you like to share a hug? Not can I give you a hug, and not will you give me a hug? Can we share a hug? And be okay with the person saying yes, no, or what? Whatever their answer is, allow that to be true. And practice your no. Maybe you don't want a hug right now. Practice telling people no, or practice telling someone, you know what? I really don't feel like that today. But if you're already in the middle of something that feels really good and you want to make it better, instead of saying, you know, I think next time we should do this, say, this feels really good. And what could make it better is this. So make sure that when you're actually trying to make something better, you're not making someone feel bad about what is actually happening. So a lot of times we take everything so personally, and we're very in the critical. And that's a negative Scorpio energy, which is everything is a criticism. And what I want to invite you to do is find a way to start talking to people, though, especially those you love, and maybe some people you don't even know. What could make this better for me is this. And instead of making it critical, start just saying it as, this is my authenticity. This is my way. So we don't have to be so angry with our truth. One of the things that I've noticed is that we've overcorrected a little bit in telling people, well, this is my truth. Doesn't matter if it hurts somebody. And I think that there is an absolute way for us to be honest and tell our truth without being so harmful. So be discerning with your words right now. This is the lesson that's on the table. How do we get our needs met in an authentic way without damaging someone else? And how do we honor and value those around us in an authentic way without damaging, being a people pleaser, and always giving? There's an opportunity here for a new form of give and take in the world. We want to practice our receiving, and we might want to practice our giving a little bit, because when we start the acts of kindness, especially random acts, unexpected acts, acts of kindness that are not meant to be manipulative, but just to make someone else feel good, like, here, let me help you. I've got the time and the energy. You feel better, they feel better, and it's a win-win. We're looking now in the world for win-win-win situations, not I win and you lose. At this point, what is it that could make it all better, that could make this feel better for me, that is a win for me and a win for you and a win for the planet? So right now, that's what we're asked to do with this dark moon going inward phase and this 11/11 portal. So it's a lot of energy. First you're going into the karmic cycle ending and a new beginning with that Pisces direct Saturn. Then you have this dark moon of reflection where we've got an inward turn into looking at ourselves and our authenticity and who we are and what we want and where we're going. Then we have this beautiful activating portal on 11/11. And then next week we hit that new moon. So it's a lot, but it's beautiful if you go into an allowance, if you stopped judging everything as right or wrong and start looking at, this is true for me. What do I want? What would make this even better? What could be a win-win situation? Asking, what could make this better for you from the people around you? And as we go into the season of transformation and change, death and rebirth, that we're doing this from a place of kindness and compassion and upgrading new earth. So that's what I have for you tonight. I absolutely invite you to reach out to me if you're interested in the Align with the Light coaching program. I've been doing some big, deep changes for the people who've reached out. I have a room for about 2 more people on my coaching schedule. If you really want to make some powerful aligned changes for the end of the year, reach out to me and we'll have a conversation and we'll see if it's a good fit and how I can help you. And remember that this is a beautiful, magical time to make transformation and change, but do it with grace and do it with ease, do it with communication, and allow that to be part of being the love you wish was in the world instead of doing it with the anger and the frustration and the overwhelm that we already have in the world. Be part of the solution in your heart and be part of the solution for the world. And that's what's being called for right now. And in the middle of all that, I hope you have an amazing and magical week, and I'll see you next Monday.